Okay, so I'm back and I want to talk to you a little bit about color mixing for doing signs, for the yard signs. So since most of our posters are going to be either red or blue and white, like red, white, and blue, because most candidates use that. When you're making a poster, you are going to be able to use different kinds of blues. And so today I have this ultramarine blue right here. You can see my palette has a lot of colors on it at the moment. But if I was going to make a poster, say with vote, say we're going to paint vote just for argument's sake. Now I could make it this ultramarine color, but some campaigns are going to have colors that are very specific to their campaigns, like specific blues. So there's different ways that we can make blue different. So it can depend on the kind of blue that we start with. It could be an ultramarine, it could be a cobalt, it could be a cerulean. There's different kinds of blues. So you can always play around with the blue that you're starting with, and that will affect the blue that comes out on the page. Like I said, this is an ultramarine blue. Now the way I can change up this blue is I could add a little bit of black and make the blue a little bit darker. So all I'm doing right now is I'm just changing up and adding some black to my ultramarine, and it will make that blue much darker, almost to the black. You can still see that it's a blue, but it's kind of a black. So I'm not doing these letters perfect right now. I'm just trying to give you a sense of how you can change up a color. So I have that blue mixed with a little bit of black. And then if I want to change my blue, I can add a dollop of white. And so then the blue kind of becomes this different kind of blue. So you can change your blue. Once you start adding like another color, then it will totally change the hue and it'll become either purple or green. So you don't want to do that, but you can change it with either adding white or black to the paint. So there you can see I'm adding just some white and it gets a little bit lighter. If I add a little bit more white, it gets even lighter, right? So if we want to write vote blue, I'm just going to do this for an example for you. So the blue, we have like a lot of leeway in terms of adding white and changing up the blue that we use. So I'm just going to finish this out just so I can. So if we're going to say vote blue. Now, if I was going to do this myself, I would probably put the background as an orange because that would make it really pop. A lot of places or a lot of campaigns won't want an orange background. They'll either want it white or red because they'll want it to kind of, you know, copy the American flag. And so what I'm going to do just to kind of play around right now with just this simple idea. So we could have the vote blue. And we could kind of play around with just even using blue in different places here, like the light and the dark. So you don't want to mix it with other, but you can play around with your blue tone. Now, if we're going to use, you know, with our white and our red, we don't have as much leeway because for argument's sake, if we took our red and then added white to it, right away it turns like a pink color. And a lot of signs, you know, they're not going to want a pink on their sign. They're probably going to want a bright red, a blue. So what I would do maybe with this sign, if I was trying to make it play with my blues, is let me get some more red here. Would be keeping the red out of the tube. So again, you can play with cadmium red, a naphthol red. There's different reds that you can get. This is our naphthol. And then I could do maybe my vote. You know, the background and kind of a red. So what I really just want to show you and add on is that the color that you can change the most is blue. The red I would not really play around much with because you could add maybe a little smidge of black. So we could try that. But once you start adding the white, it will turn pink. So you could add, let's see, I'll show you. If I add black to my red, see it gets a little, let's mix it a little better. It gets a little richer, but it's not that true red. So you can play around with that as well. I just wanted to give you a kind of quick lesson of just the mixing of the blue. And then how you can use kind of the red to make the blue pop. Or you can just leave the white in the background. Now, I like to have things painted, but you could just leave the background just the way, the color of the sign itself, or just the cardboard. This is on Bristol board. You know, and you can make it more painterly or kind of more or less painterly depending upon your style too. I tend to be more painterly, so you can see the brush strokes. I kind of like that hand touch, but you could also be much more kind of neat about doing it. Depends on your style and how you like to paint. I think that with the hand touch it kind of stands out a little bit more. And once the acrylic dries, you can do another layer. So if there's areas that you don't like, you want to be a little lighter or a little darker, you can do that right after. So there's just a simple vote. You could play around with doing you know, some darker blue around this, or let's see what we can play with here. You could do stars on the bottom, but you know, with these signs, it's pretty simple. They're going to want to be red, white, and blue for the most part. And for us, maybe we want to make the blue stand out a little bit. So you can just make it very simple. So I hope that answered some questions about how to use blue, how to mix some different blues. I'm just kind of playing around now. There's going to be some posters that we do that the person's going to have a very specific way they want their color, and I will teach you how to make those colors. Okay, thank you.